So, you're thinking about going to law school and becoming an attorney, but you're not 100% sure if it's right for you. Today, I'm going to provide you with some practical tips and things you can do to find out if being an attorney is the correct career path for you. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Joe the lawyer, Joe Pometto, a practicing Pittsburgh attorney. Before we get started, if you like my channel, you like my content, please subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. Those are free ways to support the show. They let YouTube know that you're watching. YouTube pumps me up, and in turn, I know how I have an audience and I will make more videos. Also, I have an email list. Sign up for my email list. You'll get a free PDF on what to do when stopped or confronted by the police. After that, you can unsubscribe or you can stick around. I'll send you weekly emails, cool, fun, and free stuff. Now, let's get down to the brass tacks. You're thinking about becoming an attorney, thinking about going to law school, but again, you don't know if it's the right path for you. You have a couple other things on your plate. You might want to be an architect. You might want to go into engineering. You may want to just start your own business. Well, here's some things you can do to find out if being an attorney is right for you. Number one, you can intern. I suggest anyone thinking of going to law school to do this. Intern with a local law office. I have 3 suggestions if you have the time, okay? Number 1, intern with government attorneys. This can be your district attorney, prosecutor office, public defender's office, an internship with a judge, or perhaps a city solicitorship or some sort of government agency. This will give you an idea of what government attorneys do. A lot of attorneys out there are government lawyers, okay? There are ups and downs to this type of job. You may not work the crazy hours, but you do public interest work and you still make good pay. Go intern with one of these organizations to see if maybe that's the right route for you. If you can do multiple internships, I suggest you also intern with a small to medium-sized firm. This is where the majority of attorneys work. You'll get to see things like criminal defense practice, family practice, personal injury law. These types of firms, attorneys work a lot, but it's not as crazy as the corporate world, but perhaps busier than the government side. Doing an internship with these offices is a great way to get an overall understanding of what attorneys do. Finally, if you can intern with a corporate law firm, this is also a good thing to try out. Now, corporate attorneys work a lot. It's a very structured, top-down system, okay? Lots of attorneys do this, and lots of attorneys make a lot of money in the corporate world. So to get an overall feel, if you can intern with a government attorney's office, a small to medium-sized firm, and a corporate firm, you'll really get a feel for what most attorneys do. Find out if any of those are good fits for you before you make the decision to go to law school and become an attorney. Number 2, you need to think about what it is that you will be comfortable doing on a day-to-day basis. So I wrote down a couple of things, actually 4 skills that I believe this is what attorneys do day in and day out. You know, a lot of you probably watch Law and Order and TV shows and see attorneys in court all the time making these very dramatic arguments and opening statements. Attorneys do that sometimes. Or you see them, you know, walking into police stations and telling the cops to back off their clients. Okay, this is all dramatized. Here's what attorneys do on a day in and day in basis. They read, they write, and they research. Read, write, and research. Are you willing to sit down and spend hours reading legal opinions? For many people, that's very dry. Are you willing to sit down and spend hours researching different cases, comparing them, putting them together in logical order, breaking them down, reading the same cases over and over again? And do you like to write? Because all that reading and all that researching is going to go into some form of writing. I think a lot of people don't understand that writing is perhaps the most important skill for an attorney, and all attorneys, are likely competent, if not great to above average writers, okay? And I say that in comparison to a lot of other professions. Lawyers have to learn to write. Do you love reading, researching, and writing? Because that's what you're going to do the majority of the time. This may involve you sitting in front of a computer for days on end, hours at a time, sometimes isolated. So you need to think if you're the type of person who can do that. Some people need that constant human contact or interaction in their job, or they need to be up and moving around. As a lawyer, boom, you're going to be sitting at your desk for hours staring at a computer screen, writing, researching. Are you comfortable using things like Microsoft Words and online research systems? That's what the majority of attorneys do. The last skill that I think is important is public speaking, okay? All of these are skills that you can learn if you're willing to do it and you have the dedication to it. And the same is true of public speaking, but many people are terrified of public speaking. Look, I was terrified of public speaking. I've gotten much better at it. It's a skill that you will get better at, but it takes a long time and a lot of work. So really sit down and think. Are you going to be wanting to read, write, research, and do public speaking? Because these are the things that attorneys have to do. It's not all glory or sitting at your desk negotiating a contract and making $100,000 like you will see on television. You're going to have to read every single line of that contract. So that gets me to number 3. Are you into the nitty-gritty details? So can you, whenever you go and you buy something online or you sign up for a service, you're going to go through sometimes these 100-page disclaimers, okay? Somebody had to write that. It was a lawyer. That some lawyer had to read and write every single one of those words, know what each and every single one of them meant, okay? The nitty-gritty details of the law, of the written and spoken language. You got to think, if you're the type of person that has the patience to understand and go into something like that, and the patience to go over the details over and over again to make sure they're right. There are all kinds of famous stories out there of attorneys walking into deals. Actually, I'll give you a quick example, like a closing for a real estate sale. Okay, often closings for real estate sales are done by attorneys, and what they'll do is they'll come in with a stack of papers, okay, and they read the papers to both parties in the sale, and they have them sign it. They have to explain it. Well, that attorney had to prepare those papers, make sure every single one of them was right. One mistake in those documents could cost either or both parties tens, thousands, millions of dollars, depending on the level of the transaction that you're going into. So you're going to have to get into those details and make sure that they're right. There's famous stories of attorneys coming into closings, making a single mistake on the document and being fired right there on the spot. That's true of a lot of contract negotiations. If you're a criminal defense attorney like me, you need to make sure your client knows every single detail of the plea or the sentence that they may receive if they're going to go and plead guilty to a judge. Okay, the last thing you want is to put your client have your client plead guilty to a crime and then find out they're going to do 10 years when you told them they were going to do 2 years. If you haven't researched the law and got into the details and explained it to your client, it is your butt that could be on the line. So we're talking hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, okay, or the freedom and liberty of your client. It's high stakes. In a family law case, you knowing the details could be the difference between your client getting custody of their child or not, having a protective order placed against them or not. Every single decision, okay, can come down to the nitty-gritty details and have huge consequences. So perhaps that brings me to another one. Can you deal with pressure and large amounts of responsibility? Because that's what attorneys do. We help people in the worst of times, okay, in the toughest of situations, to get them out of it in the best way possible. People are usually desperate when they're coming to lawyers. They've been injured in an accident, okay, they're being sued for millions of dollars, they're facing criminal charges, the responsibility is big. So these are just some things to think about before you make the commitment to law school and to becoming an attorney, because it's a lot of money and a lot of time that you will have invested into going down that career path. You want to make sure it's right for you. So this is what I suggest. Number one, you should intern. If you know the particular area of law that you're interested in, like I had a friend who wanted to go into environmental protection on the government side. Go interview with or intern with the local environmental protection agency. See what it is they do on a day-to-day basis and if that's something that you truly want to do. So intern, understand, think about yourself. Are you into reading, writing, researching, and public speaking? Those are all the things you're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis. And number three, are you a detail-oriented person, or do you want to become a detail-oriented person because the details truly matter? Stay tuned to this channel. I'm going to do an episode on the 3 reasons why you should not go into the legal career field as an attorney. I hope that you enjoyed this and you learned something. If you like my channel, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It's a free way to support the channel, especially if you share. It gets me new viewers and new subscriptions, lets YouTube know people are watching. Also, I have an email list. Sign up for my email list. You will get a free PDF on what to do when encountered by the police. This is practical, useful information that really everyone should read. You'll get informative emails from me with new cool stuff every week. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. Thank you for watching. Joe the Lawyer out.